Would you like to make $5 million a year webcamming hoes and yield farming them on the internet? My new yield farming app just webcam hoes, runs them through a mill, spits them out, and generates a yield income of a 35% thousand APY $1 million a day. Yeah. What are the top 10 commonalities, top 10 signs, red flags between a guru and a con man? They share a lot of similarities. In fact, not all con men are gurus. However, every guru is a form of a con man. What are the commonalities? What are the top 10 signs, the red flags to look out for a fake guru? It's all over the internet. Fake gurus, fake hustlers, fake money-making schemes. What are the signs that we want to look for to identify, both in the realm of religion and the realm of finance and entrepreneur bros? The scams, the cons, the lies, the deceptions, because those fields are rife with these kinds of goobers. Goobernomics, gooberology is what we're talking about today. So let's look at the 10 signs that often pop up. Number 1, in no specific order, or number 10, in no specific order. Gurus want you to ignore practicality. And we can see an overlap with a con man, because con men want you to, in the heat of the moment, right, make a decision on the basis of emotions.
This is one of the most incredible things that I have seen.
The second way to make money that I stumbled onto was placing tiny classified ads in the newspaper.
Buy this beer because it will give you fat booty chicks. Buy this car because it will give you more PHAT booty chicks. Do this, do that quickly. Now make the decision on the basis of emotions and you'll be wealthy, you'll be successful. But of course, as everybody knows, hopefully, who has any IQ above 70, things don't come that way in life. Things like a woman, a house, savings, etc., assets, they usually come with a lot of hard work, a lot of effort. And so both the guru and the con man offer you the shortcut. They want absolute devotion, absolute control. And really the commonality again is to ignore the practical. Practical in the sense of making a lot of effort towards your goals, putting in a lot of time, putting in a lot of hard work, the 10,000 hours to become an expert, etc., in some field, or be highly successful. Those are the real ways to success. But the guru offers you the shortcut, and likewise, so does the con man, right? They tell you that you can bypass the hard work and get to the end goal. And remember, these aren't just applicable to the Hindu guru. This is applicable to the guru in any sphere. And it's also applicable to a cult leader. Cult leaders are kind of like gurus, more or less. It's also applicable to the con man because, again, all these three domains overlap. And so it would be very helpful, that's the point of this video, to recognize the warning signs. So number 10, ignoring the practical needs and making a shortcut to success, right? The con man says you will get $1,000 a day yield farming off a bunch of webcam, HOES, in some weird way, right? But no, that doesn't get you to success. And most of those things are scams, right? And likewise, the guru tells you to ignore your practical needs, set all that aside. I've even seen some of the online gurus, when asked, I was watching one video and this girl said, I'm having a hard time with finances right now. What do I do? And the guru said, why don't you just not live in some place, just live wherever, and then you don't have to pay for a rent or whatever. Just don't worry about a living space. So, I mean, just completely impractical is the irony, right? But the guru appeals to that. Maybe the guru says, instead of some sort of con man living space advice, the guru maybe says, through these 5 easy tricks, you can achieve enlightenment, you can achieve theosis, you can achieve divinization. You will be one of the gods. Number 9, if you've ever noticed the Sphinx in Mystery Man, he's a great image of both a con man and a guru, because there's a lot of elasticity in terminology, a lot of vagary, a lot of ambiguity. The Sphinx is always saying meaningless slogans and phrases, and gurus are, of course, known for this. In order to master time, time must not master you. In order to be free, we must be free of ourselves. in order to, you just flip it, right? Just make everything the opposite of what you first said. That's classic guru speak. And con men do the same thing. Con men often appeal to you in a very similar way by basic slogans. All of advertising really is built on this idea of slogans and sloganeering, simplifying things down to absurd levels. Politics, slogans, hope and change, right? These the slogans of politicians are another example of this. So vagaries, weak, weird advice, nonsensical Sphinx talk is another sign of a commonality between a con man and a guru. Number 8, donate to him for spiritual help. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with money, or even with churches or whatever raising money, or professors having, making a living. But the difference is that the guru is primarily out for money. If you see that finance is a central goal of some guru or some con man or teacher, that's a red flag. That's a sign that this is a person who's out for the obvious, to stack stacks, right? And usually spiritual advice comes at some heavy toll or price. Quite often the guru or the con man fancies himself so important that he will charge thousands of dollars to have private meetings with him. Hundreds and thousands of dollars to have him come speak at an event or sit in the front row, right? And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with a prominent person being invited to speak, but the idea that to be close to him, to be near him is, worth hundreds and thousands of dollars is a little absurd, a little weird. But regardless, that's a common sign that we see with the guru who wants you to pay all of your money to be in his presence or to kiss his feet. I've even seen videos of people paying money to kiss the feet of a guru. Very, very bizarre. And so money, and oftentimes there's a contradiction between what they're saying. Guru or con man, right? On the one hand, it's like money is something that you should be giving up. You don't need money. It's a bad thing. It's evil, blah, blah, blah. But then the guru has a bunch of limos, right? We think of the example of Wild Wild Country, where Osho's woman is sitting up there and she says, Osho have 13 different limousine, and by Tuesday he will have 15. Always look out for the Rolls Royce and the booger whistle, right? Any guru that has booger whistles, he is lulling you into a trance with a specific note toned within his booger whistle. Number 7, sketchy background. Gurus and con men often have a really shady, sus, sketchy background. And when you try to find out about their background, where they came from, what they're into, it's kind of hard to figure it out. It's like, you went from working at a paramilitary installation to being a private security person to being a multi-level marketing master to being an online. I mean, you get these weird kind of like shady, sus backgrounds. Like, you don't work with the feds anymore. Now you work for sketchy backgrounds. And you'll find the same thing with con men. Con men often have sketchy backgrounds, and usually it's because there is an arrest warrant, or there's some something where they got roped into the system and they were arrested, or have some criminal record. Next up, number 5, gurus, con men, a form of over-exaggerated control, right? We're not just talking about control in the sense of, I demand 2 hours a week that you follow me in my courses. You must come to my spiritual retreats. No, we're talking about an excessive amount of control. And in the case of the con man, particularly about the finances, right? That's all that they care about. That's all that matters is the financial element. And it eventually becomes evident, I think, in the case of a con man, that's pretty easy to spot. But in the case of the guru, it can be a little more subtle. And we've noticed this from, some 15, 20 years of studying cults, black operations, and so forth. There's a lot of commonalities and patterns. Intelligence agencies as well, who utilize these tricks of compromise, of deception and misinformation to basically cajole and manipulate people, socially engineer people into whatever you want them to do. So again, the idea of controlling one's diet, controlling one, especially the guru. The guru really wants into your daily life cycle, into your daily diet, and that might even get to the point of where the guru wants to rename you. The guru wants to get rid of your old identity, give you a new name. And maybe that's not so much the case with a con man, although a con man might steal your identity. He might steal your identity and charge a bunch of Funko Pops and Lickamade into your bank account, destroying your bank account and wiping out all of your Bitcoin in one fell cotton candy swoop. Next is something related to that one, which is isolation from support systems. Now, in the case of the guru, it's a more long-term game, right? He's marked you out as someone who's probably hurting, and it's a long-term game, so he doesn't want you associated with anybody else that might get you to critically think about the situation. For the con man, it's usually something quick and on the spot, so he especially doesn't want you to contact someone else or to think through what's going on, because you might hit a critical flaw in his scam or in his con, right? But the guru has a longer con that he's conning you with, where he really needs over time to break your identity down, give you a new identity such that your identity is bound up with his cult or with following him. So, but there's still a similarity, a pattern in the sales pitch and the technique of both the con man and the guru. But if you want to support my channel, be sure and go to choq.com, that's CHOQ.com. The best supplements out there, 100% geared towards getting you into the right state of mind through products like the She Legit, focusing on mental clarity, products like the Tonkat Ali, which in peer-reviewed studies are shown to boost testosterone. Be sure and use the promo code J50 to get 50% off anything in the store there. If you want to use the recurring subscription, be sure and use J53LIFE. You get a little more discount, and that gets you that recurring subscription. You don't have to put in that information every month. Also, I have my new books out. Again, Learning Critical Thinking, Learning Philosophy. Why is this so helpful in even our daily lives, right? We can utilize the principles of philosophy so we don't fall for scams, for cons, for advertising, right? All this kind of stuff. Politics, we could be duped in all of these arenas. Mass media, right? Utilizes fallacies, utilizes emotional appeals, all of these things. Get your copy of Meta Narratives, my new book on philosophy and symbolism. If you want the big fat Big Daddy, almost 700 pages of my collected writings and essays from the last 10 years. So, but there's still a similarity, a pattern in the sales pitch and the technique of both the con man and the guru. Isolate them from any support system. And this is where you see in the previous talks that we've done, where the element of destroying your old identity comes in the talk that I did with the counselor Rachel Dean. Next up is it's an all or nothing, right? All or nothing. The guru is an all-encompassing totality recommendation for your life, or a demand. Starts with recommendations. This is where we get the whole love bombing, and then it grows and grows and grows into something that is all-encompassing. You don't have time to think on your own. You don't have any life of your own. Everything is committed to the system that the guru and his life promotions are all about, right? Or his lifestyle promotion, I should say. And so keep that in mind, that you'll notice a pattern there as well, even though the guru is really all-encompassing. In the case of the con man, it's again a more short-term concern. So he wants you to commit everything on the spot, right? Oh, I need that $10,000 right now because that Nigerian prince over there, he's got a 1,000% APY yield farming for New Balance sneakers that you can stake your New Balance sneakers, and then through one of Bill Gates's hedge funds, you're going to get 20,000 in renewable Soviet-backed crypto. Let's get those numbers up. Let's get those numbers up, to quote Gil Bates. What about other points between the two? We mentioned the quick decisions, the flash, the shortcuts. Both the con man and the guru share a kind of Hollywood-esque flashiness. They flashy, right? They sassy and flashy. And so you'll often notice this pizzazz, this smoke and mirrors. They have to put on a sort of a show It's all about them. I mean, I was watching some interviews with gurus recently, and you'll notice that no matter what the conversation is about, no matter what comes up, it's all about the guru. It's all about them, right? It's about how there's no one smarter or better than them.
I don't understand why I think I should look to another guru when I'm like the best guru ever that ever existed, and basically I'm the smartest person in the world. And also, I know better than the Pope and the Dalai Lama.
Right? We saw somebody very recently say that very thing. So this is another obvious red flag amongst the gurus. Gurus and con men look for marks. So the key here is don't be a mark, but they look for people who are simple, who are naive. Both Crowley and P.T. Barnum famously said there's a sucker born every minute. And so both to the occultist and to the carnival barker, there's the idea that I can find a mark to leech off of, right? And every con man and every guru does the exact same thing. They find a mark or a series of marks or millions of marks to leech off of. When I go through the self-help talkers and gurus and these people and I see their followers, and sometimes in the millions, it's kind of amazing that people fall for the low IQ level scammery and tricks and techniques that every con man probably since the beginning of the world has been doing. And yet there's always people falling for this. Why is this? How come people don't eventually learn, wise up, etc.? Well, I think it's because the con man, the guru, looks for a mark, looks for a broken person. The broken person is ripe for this kind of molestation. And you'll notice too, between the con man and the guru, not just the obvious things like narcissism and God complex. We all know that a con man and a guru are in varying degrees narcissists. Gurus are typically like hyper because they see themselves as gods, right? They're basically God on earth. We notice then pathological levels of lying, gaslighting, lying in your face that they never lied when the lie is right in front of your face, right? Total gaslighting. Outlandish claims are another sign that we see as a commonality between the two. All or nothing, you have to completely commit to me. There's no flexibility. No guru and no con man teaches you logic, ever. I've never seen a guru or a con man teach logic. They don't want you critically thinking, because anybody who began to critically think would immediately question the guru, his methods, the inconsistencies. Not talking about nitpicking, but the outright total inconsistencies, right? This is something that you never, the cult especially, don't learn logic, don't learn critical thinking. And the people who join and the people in the cult are typically fake experts, fake degrees, diploma mills. I went to the Universal Life Consciousness Church and I'm a PhD. I got it last week. I paid $39.95 on the internet. No, you're not an expert. You're an idiot. You're a con man. It's obvious. Pathological lying. There you go. Top 10 signs, commonalities between a cult leader and a guru, con man, it doesn't matter. They all have these same patterns, and just following these kinds of basic techniques and principles will help you avoid this field, which is, it's all over the internet. There's like gurus popping up every day. There's like all these new gurus.
And they started placing tiny classified ads in the newspapers, just like I did. Was it half as easy as I said it was going to be?
It's unbelievable. The first time the checks were in the mailbox, I could not believe it. It's unbelievable.
All these new spiritual teachers, consciousness teachers, right? And they have the exact same patterns as a lot of the other con men on the internet. So if you would hit like and share, and by the way, tell me list some other famous con men and instances, examples. As you know, on my channel, we've gone through dozens and dozens of cults over the years.
Would you like to make $35 million a year by yield farming out webcam hoes on my webcam service? $5,000 per year can generate $5 million in a day. See you at the top.